So there is talk about a summer update that pertains to PvP. And people are talking about this new turn-based system that is apparently going to be coming out as a new tournament mode for us to try in the upcoming test realm. And there is also talk of a Dispel Shield. Let's talk about that. Roll the intro, boys. Alright, so for those of you who are not informed for whatever reason, during one of the last KI lives, well, they were streaming, obviously, and they released to us a preview of a new game mode that is supposed to be coming to tournaments I expect the next update coming this summer, or the test realm rather. So there are a lot of things being questioned and a lot of things that got previewed that are being questioned. You know, some vast speculations and very thought out questions are being asked, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of go over them with you guys to get your opinions in the comment section, hopefully, on these questions and what you guys think they might do. So first of all, there is a new game mode coming to tournaments, and it is basically an I go, then you go, then I go, then you go sort of turn-based system, if you will, I guess. Kind of explaining it more for the people that don't understand. Basically, you take one round to cast a card and the other person takes their round, and while one person is casting their spell, the other person does not get to cast their spell. So you go, then I go, then you go, then I go. You get it? Okay, well, hopefully you do. If you don't, then I would suggest go looking at the last KI live that they displayed the sneak peek on. Basically, I mean, at first, people were like kind of ecstatic and like, yay, you know, this is something that's going to be put into ranked, hopefully. But I don't really think you guys understand how that is going to affect the game and the repercussions of adding something like that. Especially with the veteran players that, I mean, very well know what is going to happen if that were to get implemented into ranked. That would be absolutely catastrophic and horrible for a lot of like different levels of PvP, especially max with the strategies that they have and whatnot. And you know, like level 50 and stuff. It's just, no, I don't think it's going to do well for the game. Maybe as a tournament mode, but even as a tournament mode, I don't think it's going to have much, you know, like, oh, I want to do that tournament. You know, it's not going to have that effect on people. And the reason is because you're literally prolonging the match. Basically, if you're versing like a Jade or like an Angel or whatever, or somebody with like really high resist, they're going to know what you're doing pretty much before you do it. It's like that much easier to predict someone, and the match just goes on so much longer because people have like plenty of open chances to discard and, you know, not be put up into a corner and forced to make a move. You know, they have a lot more thinking time and whatnot, and it's just like it gives too much freedom to the players, I want to say, if you guys can understand that. Like, the match will just be prolonged so much. Going into more detail, matches at max level and level 60 and level 80 sometimes and level 50, I mean, we've all seen matches that last forever. And in this meta, currently in Wiz, matches tend to take anywhere from like, I want to say, what, like 10 minutes to an hour, maybe more, depending on who you're versing, or if you're the one that has the thought out built strategy. And I mean, adding this system in tournament where, you know, you most likely are playing by the clock and you pretty much aren't going to have enough time to kill the other person unless you're both going for like a full-on attack strategy, which not everybody is going for. I mean, the game mode is pretty much at that point useless, isn't it? Because you're playing by a clock, number one, and number two, people are going to want to tank you out because it's just that much easier to read your strategy over time. And I mean, that's just kind of ridiculous in itself. So what is the whole point of adding this turn-based system into the game? I mean, just think about that. That's kind of like contradicting the whole point of, oh yeah, let's add this new game mode to hopefully fix PvP. When you're adding it, number one, as a tournament mode, so it's timed, and number two, you're giving more freedom to the players that they really don't need, because you forced a defense attack meta instead of a, you know, good stats all around the board meta, pretty much. Like a heavy pierce, if possible, heavy resist, decent attack meta. And, you know, with Wiz being in that meta right now, this is not the answer at all. Matches will take forever. It will pretty much be a stalemate until the clock runs out. And that is like my final opinion on this turn-based system. Do I want it to come to ranked? Absolutely not. Matches will take forever, especially because at level 60 PvP, which is the most prominent thing on my channel, matches already take like 10 plus minutes. If we add this new turn-based system, matches base will take like 20 plus minutes, even if me and the person I'm facing are primarily just trying to throw hits and not even heal. It's still going to take like 20 minutes because shields will still fly. Like the strategy will still be there, but it's just like, even if both players are playing to kill, it's just gonna take so long because it's so easy to read a hit and react after getting hit without having to take immediate repercussions. And it's not something that I want to see put in the game, to be honest with you guys. So that is the first thing that I wanted to talk about. The second thing is this Dispel Shield that people are talking about, which, I mean, I don't even know if that even is going to be used much, but they didn't really showcase how it's, you know, going to function. Is it, you know, going to keep you from getting fully dispelled, you know, like from any dispels? You know, is it only going to protect you against one dispel, you know, two dispels? Like, what is the deal? Because when they previewed the quote-unquote Dispel Shield, if it even does reach test realm or live realm, you know, like, we don't know how it's going to react to dispels. So my friend Acidic Andrew brought up a very thought out question, which is, if you put up a Dispel Shield on your wizard, and then the person you're facing uses gnomes, what is going to happen? Is it going to negate both the spells that the spell puts on you, along with the damage, or is it only going to negate one dispel? Because if it negates both dispels, then that means that gnomes is pretty much a useless card against someone that has that shield on. So it might be meta in that regard, but at the same time, if you're going up against a person that is going to dispel spam you, you know, ideally, how many of these are you going to want in your deck, and how, you know, just how useful are they going to be? Because if they only block one dispel coming your way, then I mean, that's all the more motivation for someone to just slap on a mastery and put in TC dispels instead of normal dispels just to get off your stun shield, and then you pretty much wasted a round because, I mean, a dispel is what, only one pip at that point if they have a mastery on. But at the same time, my buddy Andrew did bring up a pretty valuable question. You know, what will it do to cards that do hit and put on a dispel? You know, like, just what's the point of those cards, and how will they react to you know, this Dispel Shield? Like, will they have any effect at all in terms of, you know, dispels? So just questions. We'll have to find out, and then I'll make another video on it, hopefully when that test realm drops. If it does drop this summer, hopefully it does, and they end up somehow making PvP overall a little bit more fun. But Dispel Shield, not really feeling it, because what we think it's most likely going to do, it isn't really going to help much. Not really. With, you know, the most played levels of PvP, which are like 60, 50, you know, 80, you know, max, whatever, it's not really going to help, to be honest, in my opinion. You know, in this meta where dispels are still, you know, a thing. You know, putting on a mastery and dispel spamming someone, it's still a thing, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to take up room in your deck to put in a Dispel Shield, just so you don't get dispel spammed. If it does only negate one dispel, it's kind of garbage, to be honest. But now I want to go over my idea of a better PvP route that you can take if you are wanting to try out PvP, but you don't want to deal with shadow spells and juju spammers and angels and whatnot, and you just want to have fun with friends without getting crit on left and right, and it's just it's terrible. So basically, you guys know that I like to do level 60 PvP pretty much all day every day whenever I get on Wiz to record. Well, PvP, that is. But I'm not sure you guys understand exactly why I want to do 60 and I don't want to do max and I don't want to do level 30. Like, there's very rational reasons behind that, and I'll start to go over them in a minute here. But I just want to talk about, like, any other level than level 60 is kind of unbalanced. Because level 60 was the level that they brought out, you know, Celestia, and they kind of expanded on the system and everybody liked it. And this system was kind of stable, like, in that regard, because it was something new, but it wasn't something broken. You know, like, anything before that was just kind of boring and bland. We've seen it before, you know, with Dragonspire, Mushu, you know, and all the worlds before that. And then Celestia came along, introduced the crit system, and we were all, you know, thrilled. Everything after that just kind of led up to a more broken, you know, system, so to speak. So now I want to talk about why level 60, in my opinion, is the key to essentially the perfect PvP area in the game, I guess you could say, right? So at level 60, unlike level 50, 30, and whatnot, you can actually craft your lore spell. So, you know, as long as you do the crafting quests, which, I mean, in this day and age of Wiz, they've nerfed the crafting quests, so it's really not that hard to reach Legendary Crafter. If you have trouble, then there are, you know, there are information sources out, such as the Wizard101 wiki that you can look forward to for help. So, I mean, there's just things out there that can help you, and you get your lore spell. Like, it's so easily craftable, and you don't have to farm, like, for moons for your lore spell at level 30 and your lore spell at level whatever 45, 50. It's, oh my god, it's like the worst thing, because if you don't get your lore spell, I mean, most people just get discouraged to PvP. I mean, am I right? I don't want to PvP and, you know, lose because I don't have my lore spell. So it's just like, what's the point? But at level 60, you can craft it. It's so easy. You just have to put in the work and dedication to craft your spell. And, oh wow, this match already ended. Okay, well, that is reason number one. Like, there are a billion reasons, but I want to bring out three very notable ones. So, reason number two, here at Legendary, crits don't happen too often unless you're versing somebody that has like a heavy crit setup, but you really don't see that at Legendary much. People, you know, they opt for damage, decent resist, you know, like a tiny bit of pierce, and you don't see mass pierce down here at Legendary, like 15, 16, 17 at most, which really isn't even that much depending on, you know, the stats that your pet has and what gear you're rocking, because you might be rocking anywhere from like 45 to 50 resist on any class. At the moment right now, I am rocking what? Well, this is, well, actually, is this my setup? Yeah, okay, so I'm rocking 37 resist to every class except for fire. But the way that fire works at Legendary, it makes it so that, you know, like, you have cards like Burning Rampage that you can farm for at Legendary, and it's so amazing because you don't have to worry about, you know, using any higher pip spell and, you know, have to worry about the other opponent like getting a shadow and bombing you with FFA or bombing you with Abominable Weaver, and you're just like, nah, bro, I can't use these two power pips and, you know, like a new pip. I have to wait for the shadow. Like down at Legendary, you can use lower pip spells in your strategy and they don't kill the opponent in like 2 rounds. Lore, like you have to spam lore like 5 times to kill somebody if you're not versing somebody who's completely brain dead in PvP. Like down here at Legendary, it's a completely different story. So you get your lore spells. That's number 1. Number 2, you pretty much can do any strategy that you want and have it work to its full potential without, like, you know, having it flustered by facing someone who has mass resist or whatever. You know, stats aren't too crazy down here at Legendary, and strategies are pretty much whatever you want to make out of them. So all strats work down here at Legendary, and you don't have to worry about, you know, super BS like, you know, shads and whatnot. So that's number 2. Number 3 is every school at Legendary. I don't care how you look at it. Every school is good down here at Legendary. And I can't stress that enough. Myth is good. If you know how to play the class, it is good. You can beat a balance from second on Myth. Especially if you're running defense Myth. It is great. You'll whoop balances from second. Storm, oh my god, yo, it's one of my favorite Legendary classes. I'm so passionate about Storm because it is so broken and funny. And if you haven't seen the Storm Marathon, go check it out. Search up Storm Marathon on YouTube, watch it. It's funny, it's hilarious, yo. It's a really good time to be a level 60 Storm and Wiz right now. It's amazing. Death, you know, Bone Dragon, Deadly Minotaur, you know, Blade Up, Infile Bone, you know, poison, vampire spam, it doesn't really matter. Death is good. Fire, you know, of course it's good. You know, like your bubble is 2 pips. You got Brim spam. You got Burning Rampage into Brim. You got Beetle into Burning Rampage. I mean, what else could you want for? Fire is OP. Balance, you have Lore and Savage. I'm not sure if you want to craft Savage, you can. All you really need is Lore. And then you can opt for some other strategies like putting in, you know, Spiritual Dispels or Elemental Dispels. And it's just a really good time. Balance isn't super OP at Legendary because Lore only does so much in the current meta, especially because people are rocking a little bit more resist, especially towards Balance. So just be wary about that. Lore spam isn't really all that good. If you're getting beat to lore spam, you could easily switch up your strategy to beat that. It's really no sweat. But you know, like Balance, Myth, and all the low tier schools at max are good down here at Legendary, and it's amazing. So what I want to do is have more people dedicate, you know, their PvP accounts to level 60 characters, because if we can all agree that level 60 is like the perfect level to PvP at, then we can have a big community of level 60 PvPers. And, you know, there's always going to be a match to be gotten at level 60. You'll never have to go up against some like mass resist level 50 who's just there to troll, or some zero hero. Like, you'll always get a match with another level 60 because everyone likes level 60. And there's just so many reasons behind it. It's crazy. And tournaments will go super easy because if you want to do a 4v4 tournament with your level 60 friends, if level 60 gets, you know, that hype and people hop on the train more, you'll always have a match to look forward to in a 4v4 tournament instead of signing up with your friends and you're all level 60 and then you're not getting paired because no one really signs up for level 60 4v4 tournaments. And back in the day when level 60 was like a little bit more hype than it was now, like it's still big, but it was more active back then when the community wasn't, you know, dying off. Level 60 was very active as a level of PvP, and level 60 tournaments happened all the time. It was fantastic, it was funny, and it was a great time on the channel especially. And you guys, if you guys remember like the tournaments with Jordan and CJ way back when, like the 4v4 and 3v3 tournaments, it was It's fucking awesome. It was really fucking awesome. And the strategies down here, there's just plenty of strategies, you know, plenty of broken stats to go around, and all classes are good. Like, no class surpasses the other if you know how to play the person that you're versing. You just have to learn the matchup, and you're good. Just learn your class, learn how to beat other classes that are supposedly better than you, and it's really not that hard. And BS is very little down here. Like, the chances of BS happening are very little. If you get crit on, you know, it happens. You know, crit got introduced at level 60. It's bound to happen. But it, you know, crit doesn't do mass damage like it used to. Like, it still does mass, but not mass to the point where, you know, 2 lures and you're dead pretty much. It'll take like 4 lures crit on you and you're dead, depending on your resist and what school you're playing and what strategy you're going for. But I mean, there's just so much to offer at Legendary. It's crazy. Those of you who are wanting to do Legendary, though, do not do any side quests or power level. Go straight through Avalon, or not Avalon, but Zafaria, because if you want to craft your spell, you need to at least be in Zafaria. So, like, the first couple of quests in Zafaria to be able to get the Legendary Crafter badge. So do not do any side quests or anything like that. Unless you are at the point where you can get the Legendary Crafter badge, then go ahead and feel free to power level, I guess. But other than that, I might do a video on, like, the best way to set up a Legendary character. If that's something you guys want to see, I don't really know. But that is my opinion on, you know, the solution to PvP at the moment. To people that, you know, want to be able to crit and block at the same time. You know, have that hype happen. Because, you know, hype is kind of very little in the game right now. When, you know, max BS is super likely and whatnot. But, I would say it's more hype at Legendary, because the chance to crit is really rare, unless you're just getting like super bad luck, getting crit on, or if you're getting like super lucky and critting on them over and over. But like, you can still block down here with like 1% block. So I mean, as long as you have block, you're pretty much good. Because bad BS and good BS are both pretty frequent at level 60. But I think I'm rambling on. Level 60, guys. Hop on the train. Summer is right around the corner. Yo, start your level 60 today. Like, let's get this community popping. Level 60 for life. Let's get it. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the video for today. If you did enjoy and want to ramble on about your opinions about level 60, this new Dispel Shield, or the new turn-based system, how you think that's going to affect the game, if it's even going to give it positive effects at all. I mean, I don't know. My opinion is it's not really going to do anything. The Dispel Shield is kind of bogus until we see what it does. It's all just kind of sketch at the moment, you know what I'm saying? So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy, drop a like, drop a comment if you want to ramble on about what I talked about in this video, and subscribe if you are new. Share this video with your friends if you are so entitled, and I will see you guys in the next video coming up very, very soon. Ice Marathon soon. Watch out for that. I just got to get membership on my Ice account. But yeah, peace.